The sound came first, a tearing shriek of metal, then the world bucked. Arthur Finch fell. The floor became a wall, then a ceiling. Bookshelves exploded. Glass shrieked into 1,000 needles. He knew the sound of rebar twisting, the groan of concrete failing. He knew it intimately. He designed for it. Dust filled his mouth. He lay on something sharp, something that pressed into his ribs. His head throbbed. A tremor ran through the building, a deep, resonant hum that vibrated through his bones. He tasted blood. His tongue found a cut on his lip. He pushed. His arms screamed. He rolled onto his back. The ceiling was gone. A jagged maw of sky, bruised dark with smoke, gaped above him. Light, thin and sickly, filtered through the haze. His wire-rimmed glasses clung to his nose, one lens spiderwebbed, the frame bent. His thinning hair, usually combed back, was plastered to his scalp with sweat and grit. His pressed shirt, a light blue, was ripped across the chest, smudged with concrete dust, a dark stain near his collarbone. He pushed again. A section of wall, twisted rebar jutting like bones, lay across his legs. He pulled. Nothing. His hands, usually clean from blueprints, were scraped, the knuckles raw. He looked at the wreckage of his apartment. His meticulously organized life reduced to this. The blueprints for the new city center, scattered like confetti, buried under plaster and pulverized drywall. The irony was a bitter taste. He built this, or parts of it, all of it. He felt the failure deep in his gut, a cold, irrational guilt. Another groan. The building shifted. A shower of pebbles rained down from above. He had to move. He clawed at the debris on his legs. Pain flared, sharp and insistent. He ignored it. He pulled, grunting. The rebar scraped his skin. He pushed with his free leg, straining. The weight shifted just enough. He slid free. He stood, swaying. His right ankle protested. He limped towards the gaping hole where his study wall had been. The city outside was a nightmare. Smoke plumed from a dozen points, black fingers reaching for the sky. Buildings, some he recognized, stood at impossible angles or were simply gone, replaced by craters of debris. Distant screams, faint and chilling, threaded through the rumble of further collapse. The air itself felt heavy, thick with the acrid scent of ozone and pulverized stone. He needed to get out. The door to the hallway was jammed, warped in its frame. He slammed his shoulder against it, once, twice. The wood splintered but held. He backed up, took a breath, and lunged. The door gave with a splintering crack, revealing a hallway equally devastated. The floor was a minefield of broken plaster and twisted pipes. The air here was even thicker, a suffocating shroud, a sound, a low moan from further down the hall. Arthur froze. He didn't want to see. He wanted to escape, to find order, to find safety. But the sound came again, a desperate gasp. His engineer's mind, overwhelmed by chaos, sought a problem to solve, a life to save. He limped forward, picking his way over the rubble. The hallway opened into a stairwell, partially collapsed, a jagged hole where the railing had been. A figure knelt there, hunched over something on the floor. "Hello," Arthur's voice was a croak. The figure straightened, turning, late 30s. Her dark hair, usually pulled back, was loose, tangled, framing a face smudged with dust. Her eyes, wide and sharp, scanned him, assessing. She wore practical dark clothing torn at the shoulder, a smear of red on her sleeve. A worn medical bag, clutched tight, sat beside her. "Are you injured?" Her voice was clear, direct, cutting through the dust and the groaning building. "Conscious, any head trauma?" Arthur blinked. "My ankle, ribs, nothing major." He gestured vaguely at the chaos. "What happened?" She didn't answer. She knelt again, her attention returning to the person on the floor. "He's gone." She spoke without inflection, a statement of fact. She closed the man's eyes. Her movements were precise, efficient. She rose, turning back to Arthur. "We need to move." She didn't ask. "This building won't hold." She looked past him into the ruined hallway of his apartment. Which way out? Is there a service stairwell? Anything less damaged? Arthur's mind, still reeling, tried to process her rapid questions. "The main stairwell is this way, but it's bad. The fire escape. It might be gone. We go down." She didn't wait for his agreement. "Can you make it?" Her gaze was steady, unwavering. She was already moving towards the damaged stairwell, her medical bag swinging with her stride. "Stick close." The building groaned, a deeper, more resonant sound this time. The floor beneath them shuddered. A crack, thin as a spiderweb, snaked across the wall beside them, then widened, spitting dust. Now, she didn't look back, move. The air bit with the acrid scent of pulverized concrete and ozone. Arthur Finch squinted, his wire-rimmed glasses, one arm askew, doing little against the perpetual haze. Ahead, the sky bridge, once a testament to human ingenuity, now writhed in a grotesque parody of its former self. Colossal concrete decks had buckled, twisted like tortured metal, exposing the rusted rebar skeleton beneath. Entire spans had vanished, leaving gaping chasms that plunged hundreds of feet to the ruined streets below. Distant silhouettes of overturned vehicles lay scattered, swallowed by the dust. His hands, usually precise over a keyboard, instinctively reached out, finding no solid ground. He knew this bridge, knew its stress points, its load-bearing capacity, the precise metallurgy of its joints. Years of his life had gone into its digital blueprints, its maintenance schedules. Now it mocked him. His mind, trained for repair and stabilization, cataloged the damage, searching for a path that didn't exist. He felt the weight of it all, the system he'd built now collapsing around them. Guilt tightened his chest. Lena and Liz depended on him. Arthur. Lena Petrova's voice cut through the groaning metal. She stood beside him, her dark hair pulled back in a tight ponytail, a few strands escaping to frame her dust-smeared face. Her observant eyes scanned the wreckage. Assessing threats, not lamenting loss. We can't go back, this is it. Liz, small for her 15 years, clutched a worn backpack to her chest, her face pale and streaked with tears and dirt, crumpled further, her eyes wide with fear. A soft whimper escaped her. Every gust of wind carried the unsettling creak of shifting concrete, and she flinched. Arthur turned back to the bridge, a precarious pathway, a twisted ribbon of steel and cracked pavement. Offered a tempting but deadly shortcut over a sheer drop. He knew the structural integrity was compromised. Stepping onto it would be suicide. His gaze traced the lines of force, the points of failure. He saw the fault lines, the irreparable breaks. It's not stable, he said, his voice rough. Any further movement, it could all go. He swallowed, the metallic tang of twisted steel thick on his tongue. He wanted to find a way to shore it up, to stabilize a new path. His mind raced, calculating, but the numbers wouldn't add up. There was no repair here, only ruin. Lena stepped closer, her sturdy utility pants brushing against his practical trousers. We don't have time for a full structural analysis, Arthur. We need a way through, now. Her gaze flicked to Liz, whose small frame trembled. There has to be a way. He looked at the chasm, the sheer drop, the impossible barrier. His engineering mind, accustomed to building, to preserving. To making things work, rebelled. He saw the bridge as a problem to be solved, a puzzle to be reassembled. But it was broken, irreparably. A different kind of thought began to form, unsettling and cold. If he couldn't fix it, if he couldn't go around it, what then? His eyes, once searching for stable points, began to seek out vulnerabilities, not for repair, but for something else. He knew the weight distribution, the weakest links. The points designed for controlled demolition, long-forgotten contingencies. He knew how the rebar was woven, where the tensile strength failed under specific stresses. The idea was a dark whisper, a betrayal of everything he'd ever stood for. He could not build a path, but he could make one. He could break the bridge further strategically to create a passage. This was not about saving the structure. This was about destroying it just enough to survive. His hands, though still steady, felt a new kind of cold certainty. He began to trace lines of controlled collapse in his mind. The ground trembled with a final, resonant groan as the skybridge completed its surrender. Arthur stood amidst the settling dust, the metallic tang of pulverized steel thick in the air. The path behind them was gone, swallowed by the chasm. Ahead the ruined city stretched, a labyrinth of leaning towers and choked streets. Lena pulled Liz close, her eyes fixed on the new, impossible void. Javi, a ghost in the swirling haze, moved with a predatory grace. Already scanning the new horizon, they walked, hours blurred into a haze of dust and the distant, unsettling creak of the city. Rubble choked the avenue. The city felt different now. It was no longer just falling apart. It was alive, and it was hunting. Arthur looked at the empty space where Lena's medical bag had been, at the small teddy bear lying discarded in the dust. His failure was a physical weight pressing down on him. He felt the tremor in Lena's hands as she gathered the scattered, useless items, the small sobs racking Liz's frame. Javi pushed himself up, his face a mask of pain and grim satisfaction. His distrust had been justified. "Come on," Arthur said, his voice hollow. He led them back to the shattered entrance, back to the street. The air was still thick with dust, the distant groans of the city a constant reminder. They walked,